Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is for trading on April the 28th, 2021. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. As usual, we will start off by taking a look at our calendar here. So with Bank of Japan held onto the monetary policy as it was, and they're going to continue providing support to the market. And as a result, we have seen Japanese yen drop, or everything else gone up against the Japanese yen because of that. Coming up here, we do have the CPI inflation numbers. Again, if they come in too far above what the expectation is, that will cause a problem. But if they're in line with expectations, that would be a positive thing for Australian dollar, and we're likely to see a move higher. And then coming up to on Wednesday here, very, very important, we have the Fed statement here. We also have ECB President Lagarde speaking. Now, again, with her statement as well, the most important thing as at this point would be the concerns in regard to inflation and any sort of forward guidance from the central bank. So if they continue to hold on to the monetary policy, that the way things are right now, and continue providing support to the market, that would be a good thing. Same thing with the Feds here. If they continue providing support to the market, again, it will be very good. Now we are coming into the earnings season here, and the earnings are especially with the earnings here for the technology companies, they're expected to be very strong. Alphabet is buying a lot of stock back, so they're doing a lot of stock buybacks. The earnings are really good, are expected to be really good. So that will be positive for the stock market. So we'll have to watch out for that. But in regards to and especially with the numbers have been coming out positive for the US, that's giving everything a boost. And then we also have, we heard there was a news today that President Biden has said that outdoors face masks are not required, especially for people who have been vaccinated. So that's a positive sign that shows that we are moving forward. There is progress, and all of that is likely to be a positive thing for stock market. So keep that in mind. When the stock market goes up, US dollar goes in the opposite direction, and all the risk currencies, which is euro, pound, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, all of these go up with the stock market. So just be mindful of that. Any sort of talk of tightening the monetary policy would be negative for the stock market and positive for the US dollar. But if they say we're going to continue to hold everything, that would be positive for the stock market, but negative for the US dollar. All right, so let's go on to the charts here. We'll start off with euro dollar as usual here. So with the euro here, we see the price drop down into 1.2055 level, and then it bounced off of that support level. So this was similar to what we saw here. So price had dropped and then came into the support level, then bounced off. Same thing here as well. Price is holding above the support, which is a positive sign, and this shows that we are likely to see a move higher. So I'm looking for a move back towards the top here at 1.2110, but this is where if it doesn't go through, we could see price drop. So right now, neutral to bullish bias, it's still in this range here. So we'll have to see this type of a move higher for it to continue higher. But in this case, neutral to bullish bias, next target is 1.2110 and then 1.2150 above that. So bias is neutral to bullish here for euro dollar. Pound dollar here, this one hasn't really done much. It's still sideways at this point. Today's candle close is completely neutral. So this is still range bound at this point. So I'm expecting a move in this range between 1.3950 and 1.3820. So once it crosses this level at 1.3950, next will be 1.40. But for till then, bias is neutral. And we'll keep an eye on the resistance here. Aussie here, Aussie actually dropped back down here. price wasn't able to go through this resistance. So we see a bounce off of this resistance that we had talked about yesterday. So right now, a slightly neutral bias here. Next target is to the downside. So we are basically looking for price to come back into the range. And so middle of the range and then the bottom of the range here, 0.7737 is the first target, and then 0.7690, which is the bottom of this range. So we're seeing that bounce to the downside here. So neutral to bearish bias here for Aussie dollar as well. New Zealand dollar, same thing here. Price bounced off of this resistance level that we had talked about yesterday. Same thing again, we're looking for a move back down. Target here is 0.7150. So looking for a move back towards the support level here for New Zealand dollar as well. Dollar CAD here, this one not making a whole lot of progress here. With this, price is holding here. So what I'm looking for here is a retest of the low at 1.2368. So let's say 1.2370, and if it holds, we could see a move back here off of the support. So watch out for that. The candle close today is not that strong. Should it go through this support level, then we'll target 1.2325. But until then, bias here is neutral to bearish, still bearish bias here, but we have to watch out for that support level because things could turn around. But for all the dollar crosses here, we do need to pay attention to the Fed announcement tomorrow. I'm not really expecting much to change, but if they are concerned about the housing market or the inflation, that can cause the Fed to actually adjust their monetary policy, or at least start talking about it without actually doing any sort of adjustment, which will be which could cause the market to move. First, we'll take a look at silver. Silver still stuck in this range here, quite neutral here. Doesn't really have clear direction. As we can see, price has been sort of slightly bouncing in slightly upwards, but doesn't have clear direction. Today's candle close is completely neutral, which means we're still looking for a move between 26.60 and 25.80 between these two levels. So neutral bias here for silver. Gold here, gold also stuck in a range. As we can see, price couldn't go through the top, and now basically this is what I'm looking for, a bit of a drop, but then we may see a move back into the range once again. So it is still range bound, neutral bias here for gold as well, and target is 1767. Oil here, oil did push up here. We have a nice strong bullish candle close here. Next target is 64.30 for oil. Copper here, copper looking quite strong. It was strong yesterday, so it hit the target here. Looking for a move further higher here. Target is 4.50, so bullish bias for copper. And then we have Bitcoin here. So Bitcoin has moved off of the support level, but it's into this resistance here. And Bitcoin is interesting because we heard from Tesla. Tesla sold, they said they sold about 10% of their Bitcoin holdings. Now, even though Elon Musk said that, he is still holding his Bitcoin, but we are not sure what's going on there. So we have to be careful with this Bitcoin here. If it fails to go through 55,250 level here, so the current support resistance level, then we are likely looking for a drop back down. So we have to be very careful with this one, and that could basically trigger another leg lower here. So right now, a bias is neutral. I'm not quite bullish on it, even though we do have a bullish candle close. If it crosses this 55,265 level, then next target is 57,500, and this is where it really turns bullish. But until then, this is still neutral. It's still going sideways without clear direction. So I'm not convinced that it's ready to go higher yet. S&P 500, this has been pushing into the resistance for a number of days now, still hasn't been able to break the resistance, so neutral bias. The candle close here is it's quite neutral here. And in terms of the move, this was very choppy move for the day, went up, went down, and didn't really do a whole lot. So it hasn't done much over the last few days. It was choppy here, and now it's just choppy, hasn't really been able to go through the resistance, which means we could see a drop. It could come back into the range here. So watch out for this type of move here. So right now, bias is neutral. It still has that bullishness, but once it crosses the high at 42,000 or 4,200, I should say, then we are going to look for that next move higher. But for now, this is neutral. NASDAQ here, NASDAQ also neutral here. It's still stuck in a range. Price bounced off of the high here, so we could see a move back in. But keep this in mind, if the earnings are coming in strong, that could push this one higher. So that's something to watch out for. But right now, bias is neutral. I'm expecting a move between 14,000 and 13,700. And then Dow Jones here. Dow Jones also not doing anything at this point, stuck in this very narrow range. And today's candle close not looking that strong in either direction. So I'm looking for a range bound move here as well, basically between 33,700 and 34,260. So neutral bias here for Dow Jones as well. DAX here, DAX also stuck sideways, not much in terms of the movement. It seems to be stuck in this level. It bounced off of the support level, but it hasn't really gone through the resistance. So at this point, we may see a move like this. So bias is neutral for DAX as well, and looking for a move between 15,130 and 15,500. FTSE here. FTSE also looking range bound at the moment. It bounced off of the support resistance level, so we may see a move lower, back into the support, and then back into the range here. Target here is 68.50 for FTSE, so neutral bias for FTSE as well. And Nikkei here, Nikkei is stuck in the range here. As we can see, price dropped off of that resistance, and we could see a move back down here. So neutral to bearish bias, looking for a move towards 28,500. So neutral to bearish bias here for FTSE. All right, so looks like most things are in holding pattern here, still waiting for something to happen. So we'll just have to be mindful of that and watch out before trading too aggressively. Still choppy market conditions out there. All right, so that's it for now. You guys have a wonderful trading day, and I'll be back again tomorrow. Bye for now.